Welcome to the Royal Geek Podcast. I'm your host tonight, Justin Sandoval, a.k.a. Sandy, and I am joined tonight, as always, with Anthony Amato, who we like to call Shamato. Yeah, that's right. No T-roll tonight. So, unfortunately, Tyler is not able to be with us, but what better way to replace a Tyler than with a Tyler?
Better Tyler.
That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the prodigal son returns. Tyler Sweat is in the house.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Yeah, man. Happy to have you back, man. Yeah.
It's been, what, a year or two, I think?
Yeah, who knows,
been a while.
man? It's been a long time ago.
I'm just happy you guys are willing to have me back.
Dude, you have an open seat every single time. It's just find the time. That's basically about it.
We were painting in a corner. That's all it was.
That's right. Yeah, you guys were desperate.
Yep. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
So, yeah, anyway, we are here to talk about Daredevil Born Again on Disney+. But before we dive into all that, thank you so much for listening. Please give us a like, follow, subscribe at Royal Geek Podcast. All of our socials at Royal Geek Pod. We really appreciate it. 5-star review goes a long way. Or, you know what? Share it with your Marvel friends. We really appreciate that, too. Word of mouth goes even farther, I think. So, anyway, all that aside, we are here to talk about Episode 4, Daredevil Born Again, and it was titled Sic Semper Systema.
Yes.
So, that I believe it's translates to what, thus along the system or
It's
something?
like thus always to
Yeah,
the system or
yes,
something.
there you go.
Yeah.
I think it's that. Thus always to the system. I think that's okay, cool. Well,
Which is kind of a play on what John Wilkes Booth yelled after he shot Lincoln because he did Sic Semper Tyrannis.
Mm.
You know,
down with the system, basically?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of what they're getting at is like, you know, because it was when Wilkes Booth did it, it was down with the tyrant.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
But this
okay.
is down with the system, which is in here, it is the tyrant.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, you know,
Very nice.
there you go. There's your Latin lesson for the day. All right. All right, let's dive into this. First things first, Sweat.
Yeah.
Daredevil episodes 1 through 3. What were your thoughts so far on that? And then kind of give your thoughts about general thoughts about this episode.
Yeah, so I've actually had to catch up pretty recently on this series. I haven't been watching it kind of as it's come out, but this week I tried to kind of catch up so I could join you guys here. And I will say I have not watched all of the Netflix show either.
Ah,
So I'm
okay.
kind of coming in a little bit of a newbie to the
Yeah.
Daredevil, at least at this rendition. Although I did have some experience of it before, so I knew some of the characters, some of the faces coming in, and I will say I think this is the breath of fresh air that I needed in Marvel content.
Yes. Okay,
You
good.
know, as like the last few things that have come out, especially on Disney Plus, I'm like, yeah. I need something serious. I need something gritty, and they are definitely delivering. I will say.
Yeah.
I like the fight stuff. I like the storyline so far, the character development. I like the nice, not so nice Wilson Fisk. You know.
Yeah, it's weird right now. I like it weird. So
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think that's kind of what I'm feeling right now. Is like, you know, obviously we haven't seen a ton of Daredevil because he's trying to fight his literal inner demons, you know, and trying to make sure he's doing things the right way. But then I'm sure, you know, as we saw at the end of this episode, he's battling on whether to bring out the demon again.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Bring out
Unleash the devil.
Unleash
Yeah.
the devil. So
Man with no fear.
yeah, I will say character development's been great so far. Yeah, I'm feeling it.
Okay,
Great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Shimano, this episode, what did you think, generally?
Okay, so in general, I am really, really enjoying the drama element, and I do like we were bringing up like the whole like the diametrically opposed sides of like Wilson Fisk. It kind of makes him more like not only more dynamic, but it makes him actually harder to. It makes you more uneasy because you're like,
yeah.
he's giving you both sides, which is interesting, but. The one thing I will say is I want to see somebody get punched in the face. That's the one thing that's been missing so far is like everything else pretty much feels like Daredevil, but I want to see more like actual fight scenes.
Mhm.
And I feel like in the back end of the series we'll get it, but I want to get to that point.
Yeah.
And I feel like right now they're kind of slow playing it out, and it's not my favorite part right now, but I would like to see a few more people get punched in the face.
Okay, yeah, no, I definitely agree with that statement, man. The action it came in heavy, episode 1,
Yeah.
and then we kind of went into this dialogue, character develop, like go in full mode. And
Yeah.
I think the reason for that is because it's the MCU introducing the people who have not seen the
Yeah.
Netflix series back into who Matt Murdock is
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what the struggles he's dealing with. So like we mentioned Sweat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think that's intentional. And I have a feeling it's going to amp up next week as the
Yeah.
week is going to happen because they're dropping 2 episodes. Episodes 5 and 6 are dropping next
Ooh,
week.
I did not know
And I
that.
feel like the only reason that you would do that is if you're about to go crazy
Yep.
action, go wild, and unleash Daredevil. I feel like that's what they're building up to. I think so.
Mm.
We'll see how
I
that
really
works.
hope that
Yeah.
is it, and it isn't. The only thing is, like, slightly from a negative point of view, is Disney allowing them to do action, but they're saying, hey, you need to pull back the amount of action you're doing
Mm.
because we need to get this more down to a Disney level of violence. Like instead, like, you can go to a lot of violence, but there has to be less of it.
Well, the last episode ended with White Tiger getting shot in the head.
That's
So
true.
that was pretty
Yeah.
brutal.
But I'm
you
saying,
saw the
like,
blood splatter too. So
well, I'm just saying, like, they can do the same, like, type of violence, but is Disney cutting down the overall quantity of the violence?
Well, if the violence keeps up with the language, it's
we're on par. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Particularly with a certain character that showed up again this.
That's
this,
right. Yeah, we'll get
episode.
there.
Yeah,
Trust me, we'll get
We'll get
there.
there. But yeah, I think so. Coming from that, like, I haven't seen all of the development that took place in the Netflix series. I think it is kind of giving the character a fresh start, kind of giving him a battle to kind of fight here at the beginning.
Yep.
Getting back to the roots of the legal drama stuff, and then him realizing, okay, I've tried to let the system work itself out, especially after Foggy's death. Now he's like, yeah, this system still sucks. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. And I think that it starts here in the beginning of the episode
Yeah.
when we see the coroner. He is collecting all of White Tiger's belongings, and they're all kind of like laid out on the table, and the camera's taking some time panning to it.
Mm.
And the one thing that I noticed this time was you saw like a wallet watch, that kind of stuff, right? And then there was a wedding band. There was a big deal in the previous 2 episodes
Yeah.
that the wife was complaining that he's like focusing more on the city and not her and that kind of thing. And then ever since like the case was over, his very first time out, he's wearing his wedding ring. That's kind of like a symbolism of like them coming together or him coming together with like he
Yeah.
is White Tiger and he is Hector and he can be happily married and a fighter and like kind of embrace those two worlds. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then his niece comes walking in. I believe Angela's her name, and she wants to see him. How crazy and twisted is it that you want to see your dead uncle? Like therapy's not free. Like she would be asking for many, many therapy sessions.
She is, but, like, I think she wanted that anger at that moment. Like, she wanted that moment to drive her because she wanted that that anger and that, she wanted to see what these people who, she knows who did it to him. Or at least she believes she knows who did it to him.
Right.
And, like, she's just, like, she wants to know. Like,
Yeah.
she wants to see it. She wants it to be. She wants it to be true, so it can feed into her anger.
Well, I can tell you the first thing I thought of was does she become some kind of vigilante as well? Like I didn't know, like, comically, not comically is funny, but comic accuracy. If she becomes some kind of vigilante from this, because that was the energy I was getting from her, is that she was kind of ticked off.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Yeah.
well, I think
gonna have a
really what that
vengeance.
scene was that was from that whole entire scene was from Matthew Murdock.
Yeah.
Like, it was all to, like, kind of drive him because I think he's been trying to so much distance himself from the idea of being Daredevil, believing that trying to believe that the system can take care of itself, or even if it can't, that there are people out there who are able and willing to do it, such as White Tiger. And, like, I think this is one of those moments where it's, like, really, like, he's starting to get, he feels himself getting kind of, like, pushed into a corner where he's just like at some point he's just going to have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can't take any longer what is happening.
As much as he is telling Angela, like when he's got his hands on her shoulders, as much as he's telling her, like somebody's going to take care of this, he's telling himself, like he's begging somebody out there to take this away from him, so he doesn't have to pick up the mantle and
point, yeah.
and come back out. Like you can, like Charlie Cox did a phenomenal job portraying that emotion there because you could tell the anguish that he was fighting back, that he was like pulling on himself. Like, I don't want to do this. I know I can do good by sticking with the system. Like, somebody has to come. Somebody has to come and take care of this. Like, it's you really did feel that. And as far as the comic accuracy goes, in the comics it goes like this: Hector is the White Tiger, and his amulet gets passed down to his niece, which is
Okay.
Angela,
Okay.
in the comic books.
Yeah.
But then Angela, something happens to her, and her mom, which is Hector's sister, ends up taking over.
Gotcha.
And that's who the iteration was
Okay.
recently.
Well, so I even thought because we do see some more White Tiger imagery throughout this episode, so I thought that maybe she takes that up. So okay, well,
So it maybe at some point there's going to be a passing of the torch.
Yeah,
So
maybe she becomes a young Avenger.
yeah, there you go.
Ooh.
That's
Yes.
being thrown around. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. All right. So I guess kind of moving on like chronologically here. We get a scene where Daniel Blake is in a nightclub with BB Urich,
Yeah.
and he's kind of like he's drunk and he's gabbing about everything that Fisk has
Yeah.
planned. And then kind of at the same time, you see like Fisk in his counseling session with his wife.
Yes.
Like these kind of scenes they're all kind of happening around the same time. What were your guys' thoughts of the nightclub scene and the counseling session, the first session?
I'd say with honestly, it was a scene where I feel like we're supposed to like BB, but in this moment, you don't like her. Like I don't like the way that she does that. Like I don't like it particularly like the way she's pulling stuff and like I don't know. It just doesn't feel like the journalistic integrity that like her uncle had.
Right. Yeah. The integrity is gone there for sure.
Like
Yeah.
and just like I don't know. I feel like she was unnecessary, and it wasn't like she was, and it wasn't like it was a scoop that was like important to like some huge case or something like that, or it wasn't like connected to like a murder or connected to like some sort of big form of corruption. It was literally like his plans on what he is going to do when he's the mayor. It sounded like it was a very like sleazy kind of underhanded type of journalism in my opinion.
Nice.
That's how I felt about that.
Yeah, which I think, I mean, it kind of speaks to, I mean, that's what it feels like a lot of the modern media is kind of about, is taking nothing and turning it into something,
Yeah.
Being first without having to actually
yeah,
fact check
that's
things.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Although the whole time I was kind of sitting there, I forgot what's the guy's name, the kid that's the
Daniel Blake,
Daniel,
the
yeah.
actor,
or no, just the character.
yeah, Daniel Blake,
I
yeah.
was sitting there, I was like, man, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Yep,
You're-
shut your
mouth.
This is not the time to talk. Like,
And then on top of the fact that like he was trying to do the right thing, and they kept on.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
also was the way that you could tell she was trying to,
Yeah.
like essentially take advantage of him.
Extract-
Is what it
right.
was.
Didn't it feel off though? It's like it felt weird seeing her with Daniel in the club. Like I just
yeah.
there was something strange about
At
the whole
first, I was like, yeah,
thing.
why are they hanging out
Yeah.
together? I don't know if it was just because they're both, influential, social kind of.
Young, I guess.
I mean, he said he had that he had interacted with
Connections.
her
Yeah,
before,
right.
before she had come in. So I feel like that's kind of like how it is.
And they did mention that she invited her out, but I think the biggest takeaway from that scene altogether is the fact that they made a Captain Planet reference in 2025. I think that
true.
right there
It's true.
is the biggest takeaway. But but they also like when they're leaving the place, there's a mural on the side that they pan to where it is white tiger like with angel wings,
Yeah.
with the tagline at the bottom like Muse, and then we do see other graffiti. We see Kingpin in his two
Yes.
split personalities. We see him being portrayed as like somebody righteous and then portrayed as somebody not.
Yes.
The black suit and the white suit.
Which is interesting because what's really cool about that is like there's the yin and the yang of that situation, but then on top of that, there's also the fact that like they're kind of reversed from the usual idea of how you would think of what those suits mean. 'Cause for Kingpin, you would think black and white. White would mean objectively good. Black would mean objectively bad.
That's a great point,
That
dude.
is a great point, yeah.
In general, like how you say it, but for Kingpin, it's literally the exact opposite. When he's in that white suit, you run.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't wait till he brings that out because it's happening. I feel
Yeah.
like he's gonna get pushed to the point where he's like, okay, I'm locked in. Here I am.
Yeah, I would love
That's a good
like
point though. I like that.
there's like a scene where like something goes too far and he's like in his black suit and you see him just go to the trunk and he just comes back out and he's literally in the white
In the white
suit.
jacket.
Ooh.
And it's just like yeah.
Yep. Keep him away from car doors, man.
Yeah, I
that's
would say
crazy.
that does kind of foreshadow, kind of this. We see the duality still at play at the end of this episode
Yeah.
with Kingpin and
Oh yeah.
in
This
his home office, I guess, with
yeah,
some of his trophies that are in his home
man,
office.
that's good, man. But I think the marriage counseling scene, there were some very good visuals in the scene because if you compare it to the first time they were there, Vanessa is on the far side and Wilson's on the other side.
Yeah.
In this scene, they're a little closer together, so clearly therapy is working a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting there. It's getting there. But they mentioned that. Did you get closure with Adam? Did you talk? She's like, I hadn't a chance to, and Wilson's like, I didn't see the guy. Like, never seen him. I had a dialogue with him. I talked to him.
Yeah.
And then after that, I haven't seen him anymore.
Mm.
And Vanessa's just like,
Yeah.
you can tell Vanessa's like, I don't buy that. Like
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
bit.
I mean, of course of course you know that because like it's the only explanation why. Well, I think it was episode 3 or episode 2, whatever it might have been, when you see his hands. And his hands
Yes, you're right.
are a little beat up.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're just like,
He's been punching something.
yes.
Yeah.
But we got to
which
speculate it a little bit what
yeah,
it might be.
We find out at the end. Like there's definitely reasons
Yes.
why his hands are like that.
Well, he hasn't killed him.
Nope.
So
No.
That's a step ahead, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
kept his word.
I mean,
there.
it's like, but there are like, it is true. Like, but in that moment, is it worse in some ways? Because
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's worse.
like,
It's worse.
you holding somebody prisoner for who knows.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's gonna either kill him or let him go soon. But
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's interesting. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, let's talk about everything going on with Wilson, and then we'll transition to everything with Matt. So, Wilson Fisk is he's at the docks, the Red Hook, trying to pitch an idea to I guess she's his advisor, or I don't know what Sheila is. Sheila's like
Yeah, she's
his
essentially
manager,
just like
advisor,
she's
publisher, maybe.
No, I think she's more like literally just a political advisor. She's
Okay.
somebody who's been in politics probably sounds like for decades.
Yeah.
And she's essentially one of those people that gets passed from mayor to
There
mayor
you go. Okay.
to keep to help them navigate the world
Yeah.
of the bureaucracies of politics.
'Cause she even mentioned, she's like, I've been here long before this. I'll be here long
That's
after
right.
this."
She
Yes.
does,
And-
and that's a good point. That's a good point. And you kind of see her knowledge here because he's speaking all these great things, and she's like, "You can't do that. You got to do that. You got to do X, Y, and Z first." So she literally lays out the red tape, and Wilson's like, "Okay, what do I got to do first?" And then she goes through like what 4 or 5 different
Yeah,
channels, and then
it's
she's like, "But then you
it's-
start here." Like,
Yeah, the red tape of it was so frustrating.
yeah,
And you could see it just kind of like grinding at Fisk.
Yeah.
yes,
As it was
yes.
just like, because it never in that way he's never really getting a straight answer.
He's literally the kingpin. Like
Yes.
he did things when he wanted to do things.
That's right. Yeah. He's used to
Yes.
people just, he snaps and they happen.
Exactly.
But
Yeah, I think that is one of the hardest things that he's having to deal with right now, is on top of everything else, but also it's like these moments of there's nothing that is like, once again, it's back to that thing. There's nothing that's black and white in this part of his world, and that's what he knows and that's what he understands.
Right.
Yeah.
But this world is so much about this like extra layers of red tape and like relationships that you're having to navigate and deal with. You
Yeah.
can't just talk to somebody and be like, "Can we do this?" And they're like, "Yes or no."
Yeah. And then he's subjected to all these obligatory appearances.
Yes.
Letting kids sing to him.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. He has there's two scenes of singing which are fantastic.
Yeah, so good.
The look on his face while the kids are singing out of tune, by the way.
Oh,
Yes.
awful.
It's not the good. It's not good. It's cutesy but not good.
Yeah.
But he is just like trying his best to keep his composure, hold it all together, and then when he's done, like he gives a good clap, standing O, but it's really like him trying to get out of there.
I love
Right?
the teacher's like, and next we have.
Yeah, he's
like,
like,
oh,
no, I'm too
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah. The best part is the fact that when he goes to the next one, it's the same
Same song.
exact
Yeah.
song.
The best part is that the song they're singing it's about a city, but it's not the city that he's trying to be.
Yeah, it's
he's
actually
trying to build. It's
Detroit.
Detroit they're talking about. So that's even funnier. But yes, but he goes to the Latvian,
yes.
embassy or something like that, and I don't know where yet, but for Heritage Day.
Yeah.
And which is this a nod to like Doctor Doom? Or are we gonna get like is he gonna be the role of the leader of Latvia? Like, is that how he's gonna get introduced?
I mean, I guess it's possible, but he's actually the leader of a country that doesn't exist, isn't he?
Yeah, but this would be the
That's
trend. It
But it
starts
could
with an
be,
L, but
yeah.
it's Latvia would be the
Yeah,
closest.
it would sort of make sense. It's
Mhm.
a I forgot what for some reason I can't remember right now, but like geographically it would make sense where he would be.
Yeah.
It'll be
L-
roughly
Latveria.
Yeah, there
that
you go.
area,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So anyway, so it would make sense that it's a possibility. I do think it's also funny that they tie it. They use it to tie both things into like both of the main characters with Fisk and with
They
Murdoch.
do, yeah, and I feel like that might be intentional. I think
Yeah.
the
Very
way
possibly.
that happened. But yeah, you pointed that out. That's good. So all right, so Fisk also gets broken the news that BB posted an article about all of his plans and saying he's like getting rid of the unions and that kind of
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's obviously bad PR.
No,
And
yeah, it's really bad.
he's really mad. He calls an all hands meeting and he's
Oh yeah.
chewing everybody out. Daniel tells Sheila first, and he's like, I screwed up. I got drunk. Yada
Yeah.
yada, right? And when I did not expect this, I didn't expect him to step up and own it, but
Yeah.
he does. He
Yeah.
owns it. Daniel tells Fist that it was him. They clear the room, and I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought he was going to snap on him and show his kingpin side, but he didn't. Instead, this is very interesting here to me because instead, Daniel ends up proving his loyalty by the things he's saying, right? Which
Mhm.
Kingpin is having problems with in therapy with his wife and her loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
here we are. He's getting the loyalty that he wants. It's just not from the person he wants it from, and so
Yeah.
therefore it triggers a forgiveness in him.
Yes.
And he allows him to be keep his job and be alive.
Yeah,
Essentially.
he specifically mentions. He said, "Yeah, loyalty and courage." are
Yeah.
like
Well,
two.
yeah, and courage was for his PR or from it for his handler,
Yeah.
essentially political
Yeah.
activist,
Yeah.
because she had the courage to stand behind him
Mm.
as well to
Yeah.
when he messed up. She like took like him under his wing in that moment when
Mhm.
she could have
Yeah.
just let him be just like
Mm.
destroyed by Fisk.
Mhm.
And there was a good image of Fisk like face to face with Daniel, and he's like, "If you ever do it again, it'll
Oh
be the
god.
last thing you
Yeah.
ever do." And
Yeah.
Sheila's face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's I think her moment when she realized I'm representing a criminal kingpin.
Oh, yeah.
Like I think
Yeah.
that was it. She was
I
like,
think
"Oh
yeah, I think
shoot."
she realized she's probably heard all kinds of things about him, especially being in the political world.
Yeah.
And but
I mean,
yeah,
he was
and
arrested like
yeah,
like
yeah,
a
straight up,
couple
like
years ago.
you know,
Yeah, and shot in the
uh,
face.
yeah.
Mm,
And
right.
then I think with Daniel, it's like it was we got to see Kingpin light for that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Keep it.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
like you got to see the
But
intimidation, but not
yeah.
the actual like physical violence that he normally brings to
Mhm.
the table.
Yeah, I like that you kind of had the side of him where he sees the virtues there, and he's like, I'm not going to fire you, going to keep you on. But yeah, then he doesn't say, but if you do this again, you're out of here. He's like, it will be the last thing you do.
Yes,
You know.
he had to add it in, man. He
Oh
had
yeah.
to. It's in his nature. It's in
Yeah,
his
it
nature.
is.
Which this episode, the themes of them going against their nature,
That's
and
that's
then
it.
it's
Exactly right.
it's right there. And but
Mhm.
there's also the theme of forgiveness too, because I feel like that Kingpin's dealing with that, and then honestly on the other side, Matt's dealing with a whole other side of that. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
anything else, Fisk? Oh, I'm trying to think before we get into Matt. Okay, so they do have. Vanessa is approached by the doctor and says, "Do you feel safe with him? The last thing he'll do is hurt me." And then there's that scene at the end where they're sitting at the table, no counselor, and she says, "I know you won't hurt me," and she's like, "But should I be worried?" Like,
Mm.
and he reassures her, "No, you're fine. That's it. That's," and then he starts walking down to.
Yeah.
He starts walking down into his basement
Yeah.
where we see Adam. We already alluded to this. Adam is kept prisoner. He's eating a delicious
Oh.
Italian sausage pasta dish.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
Just
incredible,
right in
dude.
front of him.
And right in front of him, dude.
Oh.
Was it like 4 or 5 sausage links?
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen to that, brother.
Oh.
I'm here for it. And Adam's like, "Let me go." He's like screaming, and he's just eating in front of his painting, which still has a stain, a blood stain from season 3 when Daredevil beat him in front of it, and blood splattered everywhere. So. So yeah, that was kind of embrace your nature.
Yeah, he does say something there too about forgiveness, and I don't remember the exact line, but it kind of. So I don't know if that's kind of meant to show his battling of the two natures.
yes, you're right. He does. He mentions I forget exactly what he says, but he's basically talking to Daniel. He's contemplating forgiveness, and or Adam. Sorry,
Adam,
I said
yeah.
Adam. I said Daniel, but I think he's in either let him go or kill him, one of the two. But I think he's gonna forgive Adam. I think, but we'll see. We'll see about that. All right.
I also think there's a possibility like maybe he uses him to do something for him.
To control Vanessa, you think? I think he's always been like so under Vanessa's thumb, though. Like I don't think he has the backbone to try something.
I'm
like
not going to say control Vanessa. I'm going
Mhm.
to say maybe he has something for that man to do.
to look, make
to
him
get
look good
out,
politically, like do some crazy thing that he stops,
or pin something on him.
Like that, or have him do something to someone else, or
Mm.
like use him to get
Okay.
something that he wants.
Okay, yeah. I would not put that past Kingpin. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe that commissioner's son, disappears at some point.
Do the dirty work.
Yes.
All right, let's transition to Matt. This is where I think there's a lot of heavy stuff in this part. So Matt is made aware of a pro bono case that he's got to go take care of, and it's interesting because it's literally like petty theft, and it's stealing some fiddle faddle. They said fiddle faddle way too many times.
They did.
On this.
He used, they really do. Like they use it was almost like to the point where like it felt almost like they had to pay too much money to get the rights to use the
No,
the
exactly.
official
And
name Fiddle Faddle. And
When's
they
the
were like,
last time you
"We're
actually
gonna
ate
use this."
fiddle faddle? Like
Yeah,
I haven't had it since I was like 5-year-old.
Is that like a New York thing?
It's an up north thing, yeah. It's well, they had it on the West Coast too, but yeah, it's up north thing. You remember
it's
it,
essentially
Shmato,
Cracker Jacks.
Yeah, it's Cracker
essentially.
Jacks. It's Cracker Jacks. It's caramel popcorn.
Yeah.
Which I was on a guest I was a guest on another pod this week to talk about in this episode, and they were under the impression that Fiddle Faddle was cereal. I just didn't have the heart to correct them. So, but yeah, anyway,
Cereal?
yeah, I was like, whatever, guys.
That's crazy.
I didn't correct them, but I knew in my heart that it was caramel popcorn. So,
Yeah.
all right, so. I believe Bradford is his last name, Leroy Bradford, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
And so anyway, Matt is introducing himself to him, and he automatically is making blind joke.
Oh,
right off the bat.
hilarious.
Dude!
Yeah.
Blind justice.
Welcome to
That's
Blind
dropped. Yep. And then Matt says, "I'll see you later," or whatever.
I'll see what I can
I'll
do.
see what I can do, and he
Yeah.
makes a joke about that. That was pretty rough, savage, and Matt just takes it because you know what? Honestly, he's probably used to it. But what about his sob story?
I felt like it was like this. I think what they were trying to show is like how, in general, like literally the name of the episode is "Down with the System," and I think this entire like case is about how the system has failed the people that it's supposed to be helping. Is essentially what his entire point of what his story is about how the system has failed them. These cops, they go above and beyond what it really needs to be done for someone who stole some fiddle faddle.
Yeah. But they themselves are not held to the same.
Yes, they themselves are not held to the same standard, which is exactly what you're dealing with through the entire season so far. About police officers not holding themselves to the same level that the regular citizens have, about how how things have everything that's happened to him about the sentencing and things like that, and how the last time he got his sentencing he ended up losing a lot of his benefits that he sorely needed, his social security insurance, like how that got cut the last time he ended up misses meeting, how hard it is actually for him to get that back. And so I think it's really just about how the system just grinds these people up. And
the line that got me that he said was he said it costs more money to incarcerate me than it does to feed me. Like that was I was like, dang, dude. Okay, so and then when he delivers that, you kind of see Matt like put two and two together. Like, okay, the system failed this man, and he thanks him for like reminding him.
But once again, this system doesn't work.
Yes,
I think once again it was another showing how even though Matt wants the system to work and do what's right,
it's the second time
it's
that's
not
right.
working.
It kind of felt like this was put there just to like turn that screw deeper.
Yes.
and,
Correct,
like,
yeah.
derive that kind of pain a little bit further into Matt, but also I think was meant to be a little personal because the prisoner, he's like, you don't get it, you don't
Yeah,
understand.
because he is a part of the system right now.
To him,
He
that's right.
is the
That's
he
right.
is
He's a
a
cog.
representation
Yeah.
of that system
That's right.
at this moment.
Yeah.
He's a part of that. He's part of it. And getting back to the line that you said, I think like even more it was getting at like the idea of not so much that it costs more to incarcerate than to feed him, but the system chooses to spend more on incarcerating somebody than feeding someone. Like
Yeah.
it isn't just that it costs more. It's that they choose to do that. They could choose to feed him, but they
chose
choose.
not
But
to,
they
yeah.
choose not to. They choose to incarcerate him, and instead.
Yeah. And at first I was like, a pro bono case, man, come on. Like I know Matt helps the little guy and that's his thing. That's Daredevil's like his
Yeah.
shtick. And I said, I need more story, like story driven stuff. And it turns out it actually was story driven.
Yeah.
It was just another nail in the coffin for the system's broken. Stop trying to trust it. Put the suit back on. Like that's basically about it. Because Angela was the first one. Angela was like,
Yep.
system's broken. Cops are dirty. My uncle's never gonna get
Any
avenged.
justice,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just, yeah.
And
Strike one.
Yep, strike one, and then strike two.
Yeah.
The system's broken because it won't take care of the people that need it the most, need the
Yeah.
help the most. And so it kind of recenters like Matt's thinking. He's on edge. You can tell he's on edge. And he's like, you know what? Okay, let me go investigate myself and see what happened to the White Tiger. Right? Like he kind of goes and does his thing, and this is an interesting scene also because he uses his senses, his heightened senses, to try to figure out. And the bottle rolls into the gutter, and he hears it clink against some other metal. And so then he goes and fishes out of the sewer, and you find the bullet casing that killed White Tiger.
Yeah.
And he immediately like starts going to a building, right? It's funny because like we all have a suspicion of where he's going as a fan base, and he ends up coming together with the one and only Punisher, Frank Castle, and reveals that the bullet casing had the Punisher logo on it.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Is it yours? What are you gonna do about it? That kind of thing.
Yep.
This starts a very good scene
Yeah.
that I think we need to
Uh,
dive into.
Before we get into the scene, just for a moment, I would like the fact that this was the second time that he had used his senses in the episode, and I think
Ooh,
they
good point, good
like.
point.
I think they used the other one as a double primer because they number one, and he used it to the first time he brings up the Latvian like Independence or National Day.
It's about the honey cake that she ate in the morning.
But it's
to
also
lower
about the honey cake. I think it
sentence.
is once again they're trying to really let you know, hey, he has this. This
What
is
his
like
power
it was
set,
an
yeah.
introduction of it was like a soft introduction of his, so that when he uses it in full force later in the episode, it seems less out of place.
Yeah.
So,
good
but
point.
yeah,
And then he uses the check Officer Powell's heart rate.
Yes.
He like kind of provokes him a little bit and gets him. He's like, you killed Hector, and he's like, no, I had nothing to do with that. And his heart rate was perfectly fine. No lies told. And there was a whole like my grandfather did it. My dad did this. Like we're all like blue bloods. They're in the family, right?
Yeah.
And the last line that Matt says to him is like, "You're gonna need a few more men if you're gonna come at me like that." And
Yes.
that was just so savage, dude. I chuckled so good.
it was.
Bad.
But let's fast forward back to Frank Castle. We see the Punisher again, played by John Bernthal. Which,
Yes.
dude, this scene is absolutely incredible.
Like, yeah, as I was watching it, I was like, he is just a force on the on the screen. Like
Yeah.
everything that that he has done in like the last 10 years, whether it be him on The Walking Dead or him as the Punisher or him as one of as the brother in
Chef
the Bear.
or the Bear, yeah.
Yes, and it was just like he's just a force when he's on the screen.
You know, it's crazy you say that because like this sequence, this scene of Matt and Frank Castle going back to back, Bernthal's performance in the scene alone, I think, saves the entire episode for me because this scene may be the greatest produced MCU project, just the scene alone in the last 10 years because of how powerful this it's acted, how the emotions and like just the character on character interaction. Like I don't think Marvel has produced another scene as powerful as
Yeah.
this scene.
Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned the bear because
Here.
the episode that Bernthal's prominent in
Yeah.
is the holiday episode.
Yes, fishes.
And that whole holiday episode is up there with like top 5 episodes of television.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, he just like he brings such raw emotion to every role that he does.
He gives it all. He gives it all.
Yeah.
And the conversation that they're having here is okay. So first off, Matt kind of talks to him. He's like, okay, well, if this is not you, then like, what are you gonna do about it? Like, you have the ability to serve. Like, you can do this. And Frank Castle, former Marine.
Yeah.
Former Marine, so he
Yeah.
actually served his country. Like he did serve his country, and now here you go. You have Matt, who yes, he's a service in the form of a lawyer,
Yeah.
but he's asking a former Marine to serve as a vigilante to help like
Yeah.
put crime
Oh,
down.
man.
And the Frank's response warranted, like
Burns
absolutely.
him,
Yeah,
burns him
he
to the
says
ground.
candy ass superhero stuff. Like that was an absolute
Yeah.
killer line.
Yeah.
Matt doesn't realize what he said to him. Like he didn't realize the gravity of the words that he said because Matt's just trying so hard to not have to put the suit back on. He's like, you could do this. You could serve this community. You can serve this like
Yeah.
Hell's Kitchen and New York, and you can do all this as the Punisher.
Right.
But Frank's response to that is, dude, it's just
Yeah.
so real,
So
and raw.
catch me up from kind of how his character ended in the Netflix series. So is he like you wrapped it up? He's in hiding. Like what is his?
Okay, all right, yeah, he didn't necessarily wrap it up, hang it up, or anything,
Yeah.
but he is more of a guided missile now. Like he is not just creating havoc with
Yeah.
any criminal underboss or anything. He's now like trying to stop things at the source, and so he's doing more investigative work, which you can see the wall behind
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. I did notice.
He had a bunch of red lines connecting things,
Yeah.
and he's trying to cut it off at the source, and that's where he's at now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's kind of like he started out as like this
Rabid
person-
dog off
Ye-
the
Yes,
leash.
he was like a rabid dog who was in he was in incredible pain, and he kind of like took care of that, and then he had to come to grips to like how can he live after that, and this is kind of his way of still affecting the community and still taking care of things, but not being that like loose
Yeah.
like cannon that he was at the beginning of the series, because he was just like essentially it was sort of like at the beginning he was essentially like a Roman candle, where it was just literally you were just like every
out everyone.
direction, it was just
Yeah,
ridiculous.
point and shoot, and there he is. That's
Yeah.
what
Oh,
it is.
yeah. Okay. So he's more selective, going after the bigger fish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
he's trying to be more smart about it.
Yeah.
So, but the conversation comes down to unveiling that like he still feels guilty about what happened to Foggy.
Yeah.
He refuses to talk about Foggy.
We won't
yeah.
say his name.
Won't
That's
say
why
his
he's like,
name.
say his name.
Yep.
It was,
And he talks about the system. Matt brings up the system and how he got life. Poindexter.
Oh, man.
Oh my
was
god! When
Bullseye.
another line that he just like
yeah.
like honestly, like he just puts it on multiple times in this conversation.
Yeah.
He just puts it on.
Oh,
a
he puts it
tee
on
for Frank.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the line that like really got me when he's like, "What about Foggy? Did he get life?" Huh?
Yeah.
It would, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's
Ooh.
the setup for the scene though, like that line. The setup for that line. He says, "Bullseye got life," right? Like
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
thing. There's a pause. There's a pause longer than it normally should be in a TV show, and then
Extra
Frank, he's like, "How about old Foggy?"
Old Foggy.
And did he get life? And
Yeah.
that was it, man. I got chills from that moment on, and I was like, okay, we are seeing something that is perfection.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the biggest thing is that the Punisher got hit by Matt and didn't retaliate because he knew what he was doing. He was trying to unveil the fact that Matt was
Still in him too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That,
Like,
that too. Yeah.
Matt was not embracing who he was, and
that's right.
he could tell. And so
Yeah, I think at that moment he was like, I think one of the greatest things about the Punisher character that Berthal pulls out is that there is no like fluff to what he does or what he says.
oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it
yeah.
is-
He's the
Like he's
straight
not,
straight
yeah,
shot.
like he's not there to coddle you. He's not there to tell you what you need to hear.
Mm.
He is there to tell you what he thinks, to do what he thinks is the right thing to do to get you to do the thing that he thinks you need to be doing. And I think like once again, it was
Mm.
something that. And they build it through the whole episode, like we talked about with Angela, we talked about it with Bradford,
Mhm.
and then now with
Final nail.
with the final nail being the Punisher, and he's like literally like this is like him pushing him off the edge. This is
Strike
like
three.
you've been hanging on to this notion that you can be something other than Daredevil,
Yeah.
and that is
Not
not
the case. Yep.
that is not the case. That is not who you are. That is not what you need to be.
Yeah, and the last line that, or the other line that Punisher said that got me, he's like, "I hear my son's voice telling
Yeah.
me every single day."
Oh,
And dude, and he was like, "Matt, you hear Foggy? Like you hear him he talking to you or whatever, right?" That was so good, dude. And so then Matt takes that whole interaction and he heads back home, where he's met by Dr. Glenn.
Yeah.
And he actually like opens up to her.
Mhm.
He shares with her what's going on. For the most part, and he keeps it vague.
yeah.
And then middle of the night, he ends up going back up to the rooftop, and we see his lair, little Daredevil lair with his 5 helmets,
Mhm.
and he grabs his bow staff and slash cane and starts practicing.
Yeah.
And the symmetry of this scene with Kingpin.
Yes.
Kingpin is going down into the basement.
Mhm.
Daredevil is going
Yeah.
up to the
Yeah,
roof.
that's good.
And
That's good.
it's the symmetry here is with episode 1 when Kingpin is elected mayor
Yes.
and he's on the rooftop and Matt Murdock is looking down, he's looking from the street up to
Yes.
Kingpin. But I love here where the Kingpin is going down essentially into hell, right?
Yes,
But
because I think it's also
Daredevil
very important.
is
Although,
ascending.
yes,
The devil is going to the ascending. That's crazy.
I think it's very important because of the fact of how much religion is actually tied in with Matthew Murdock and Daredevil as a character.
Yeah.
Like his Catholicism is a huge part of his
Yes.
is of who he is.
Mhm.
And I think it is very important to bring that up because him going up to essentially heaven and Fisk going back down to hell.
Yeah.
Is essentially, yeah. So does it mean that from here on out, Fisk is, going to be dirty again, and Daredevil is back to being his, more,
I kind of read this scene as they're both embracing their natures.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, for Daredevil, the system is the stumbling
Correct,
block.
yes, yes,
Similarly, for Fisk, the red tape, all that, the
it's the
system
stumbling block.
is
Yes.
the stumbling block.
Thank
So
you.
it's kind
Thank
of
you.
driving them both to
Yeah,
become who they really
it
are.
really is. Like
Yeah.
the system is essentially, honestly, the villain in this series
Yes.
is the system.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's right.
Like it is
That's right.
the failures of bureaucracy, the failures of all of our systems that are supposed to be helping us.
Yeah.
Dude, Sweat, that's an elite take right there, dude. That's phenomenal. And that's why we bring you on, man.
Once you brought me off,
Yeah, that's it, man.
it's almost like the title just says what the thing is.
Yeah,
no.
Exactly. But anyway, yes, the system was a downfall, and guys, this was the last part of this episode was absolutely incredible, and I really do think that they have embraced their natures, which is why we're gonna get a 2-episode drop next week.
So my question on that is, do we know how many total episodes? It wasn't like 12 or
Okay, so
9 episodes for this season.
yeah, it's 9 episodes for this season.
okay. I
but
thought it was gonna be a longer series for some reason. Originally.
There's 17 total episodes. Like season 2 is going to be the remainder. That gets
Oh,
to
okay,
17.
gotcha.
So 8 episodes, I think, is season 2, and
Gotcha.
then 9 episodes of season. Like that's what they planned out. They planned out a.
Gotcha. So that's total
full-
over
yes,
2 seasons.
Yes,
Got it.
correct.
Because I remember hearing that first number, I was like, man, that's gonna be a long season.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Wow. So yes, I'm looking forward to next week now. Like
Yeah.
I'm, they finished strong. We got to get more Punisher. We got to get more action.
Yeah.
I think we're in for a good time.
Do we want to talk? Do we want to talk about the final scene?
Yes, we have been getting hints of the Muse.
Yes.
And carrying a unconscious body to a lair and pumping blood into a giant gallon or 5-gallon like jug of just more blood.
Yeah.
And we get a good look at his face, and it's like a canvas with like red teardrops slash like
Yes.
smear, like a smear, like he's been crying, that kind of thing. But Yeah, so the Muse is very serial killer-esque vibe, is what I'm
Yeah,
feeling.
he's yeah.
But what I'm very interested in is because in the comic books, he's technically an inhuman, and he's got an ability of it's kind of like a sensory domain, and like he can like expand and manipulate sensory or senses, and so with it,
Which would
which is why
be
he is perfect for Daredevil because
yeah.
Daredevil can't hear him because he puts this like sound barrier around him that is sound deprivation,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And so I don't know if Marvel's going to actually pull this off and do that. I don't see why not. They've done powers in the past, but the world that they've kind of built with Hell's Kitchen, it leads me to believe that I think they might go like a more just realistic serial killer vibe.
Yeah, because it seems like some of these particular series they try to keep down to earth. They try to keep
little
it
bit.
kind of
Yeah.
more realistic.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I think that's good. Great, Shimano. I'm glad you
Yeah.
brought that up before you end.
And also, I mean, do we want to talk about who we potentially think he is?
Who muses or who the
Who Muse is?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was obvious as far as
Yeah.
episode
2?
2.
Yes.
Yeah, the dude who asked
Yes.
if the doctor had any
Yeah,
more.
Hunter
bookings.
Dewan is his name.
The actor, or
Yes,
yeah.
that's the actor's name.
Yeah.
And he's listed, and I think it's also because he's listed as a person named Bastion on IMDb, but Bastion doesn't like we literally just watch X-Men, 99, and that's not
97, yeah.
or 97, sorry. And they had Bastion in that, and that was not Bastion.
No, no.
At all. So, but anyway,
I think it's him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's him largely because it was a
Force scene.
yeah, it was a pretty forced scene first of all, and it was also a not like an enormous actor, but it was a relatively well-known actor who had a very small bit.
Right.
And so that tells you that like something is going to be happening with him, of course. And it'll be interesting to see if part of the driving force for Daredevil is going to be literally, because I think most of the time people think of a muse as being a woman, and what if she is going to be, essentially like his quote unquote muse as he is Muse.
Oof.
Man,
don't do anything to Dr. Glenn, man. Leave her alone.
Yeah, but at very least she may get captured at some point, I believe.
I'm sure that's gonna happen. Because the actress that plays her has been in some pretty good stuff. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts on Daredevil, fellas? Sweat. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, glad to be on. Glad to be really. This makes me want to go back and watch the Netflix shows.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I
Finish
mean,
those out.
There's a lot of
Legitimately,
there's a lot there.
it's really good. There's 3 seasons of Daredevil, and then there's 2 seasons of Punisher, I believe.
It's a roller coaster though, because season 1 and 3 of Daredevil, amazing peak. Season 2, kind of a little middle of the road kind of story, right?
Gotcha.
Punisher, up top, dude. It is fantastic.
Full blast.
Both, full blast.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I'm loving the show so far, and maybe jump back on before it's over.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Shimano, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, folks, that we are excited about next week. So, for Shimano, for Sweat, thank you all for listening, and we appreciate you. Go ahead and give us those 5 stars, man. This is a good episode. Give us a 5 star for this. So, anyway, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time, you peasants.